Ooh, it's seated. Okay. Finally get to see Harvey do its thing. Or not Harvey. I'm gonna call it Harvey. I don't really care. Hello everyone. I'm Level 36 and welcome back to Stationeers. Last time we got our upstairs area pressurized and ready to go. I added some lights in between episodes and turned on, just to make it a little bit more habitable up here. We also built our little bedroom over here. We still have some stuff to add. We got to plumb in the shower, but we got our sleeper. We've got our pressurization, because this is a sealed room. We close the door, so we want to have pressure. I added in a pressure regulator so that we aren't getting 1 megapascal to the sleeper. It's just set to 100 kPa. We've got our nice composite windows, so we can shut the windows when we want to, open them up when we want them open. We also have our power up here, so there is 3 distinct circuits. I'm gonna have to increase this a little bit for what we're planning today. For some reason, we can hear our gas turbine when we stand in this first column of spots, and that's a little annoying, but it's really not the end of the world. And as you might be able to tell, I printed a bunch of stuff and kind of tossed it all up here. Some of this I had printed before, but some of it is new, and it's all just kind of been thrown on the floor, because today we're going to work on getting our hydroponics set up. So, to start, as with most of these episodes, there's one thing we got to fix. As you might be able to tell, it's getting a little warm in the base and up here, and our plants probably won't like that. So we want to be able to temperature control our upstairs area. And to do that, let's throw our suit on. I'll deal with that real quick while we're grabbing some nitrogen, because I think I'm just going to use nitrogen for our refrigerant gas for air conditioning. Pop that down, and then use some of these extra tanks that I made. Let's see, what do we actually have most of? Yeah, we have the most oxygen, but I think I'm going to still use nitrogen just because it's inert. Although pollutants would be the best, but I don't think we have... I guess we could always just, like, turn on that pressure system. Boop. Still do not have much pollutants, so I think we're just going to, for the sake of expedience, and because it works well enough, even though it's not the most pressure efficient. What we did with this one is we just have like nitrogen, I guess a little bit of CO2 got in there as well, but we're just going to continue to use nitrogen. So we have a lot of it, it's already at max pressure. It'll be fine. Doesn't need to be perfect. Alright. And for these air conditioners, unlike the one we did in here where it's sitting inside of the base, so right now this is the only thermal control system we have, and it's struggling. As you can see, it's set at 23 and it's currently 30. Just because we have so much volume in the base now, it's not able to cool everything. The other ones we're going to put outside. So some atmospherics modules, some pipe radiators, some pipes. We're going to place the vents on the inside, but we need some insulated pipes for the sake of getting those vents installed. Got cable coil. Should be everything we need. So cycle power to outside. Recycle the airlock to the exterior. I do wish I had the stuff here to hook this up. I just don't. So, unfortunate. But a note for next time is plan my airlock to be closer to my atmospherics, or have my atmospherics gases available throughout the whole base, so that I can plumb in a suit storage. There's some other lessons I've learned. This has been the first, like, actual long-term playthrough I've done of Stationeers. I've actually just never really sunk this much time into a single world. Are these going to insist on being built on a frame? Yeah, they require a frame for support. Ooh. It's so funny because they don't actually, like, need one long-term, but you have to build them on a frame, otherwise they don't work. Dang it. Well, I guess we can do one, then maybe I'll just do the other one between episodes. So I was going to throw one on my manufacturing floor over here. Stick you right here. Oh, I forgot that also there's other stuff needed for these. We might have to make a trip inside. What do I need? Pipe. Got that. Screwdriver, cable coil. Okay. This. Hopefully we have enough power on this circuit to run one of these. It's my wire cutters there. Yeah, things I've learned is kind of a lot of, like, I guess what I would say is plan for power better has been the biggest thing I've learned, because I have not done that very well. My power situation is just kind of haphazardly thrown together. I need to grab the utility kits. Instead of, like, actually making a good plan for it, it was just kind of tossed in. So the wires are not super accessible, which makes it difficult to expand and maintain the system. Like, because this wire here runs just underground, like, I know it shows up back over here, and technically I can get to it underneath the airlock there. It just wasn't super convenient to get to. And also, like, while not strictly necessary, I do wish I would have done a little bit more of putting things near each other that need to be used near each other, because I have all my silos on this side, and then all of my ore and ingot processing on this side, so I just have these huge runs of chutes, which isn't a problem. It was just a little bit expensive in resources, and made it more difficult than necessary. How's this thing going? It's got plenty of stuff in it. Chugging along. Also, don't blow up your base. That's another good note for future. I don't think there's anything in this corner, so we're just literally going to... I have so much of this extra tube, so we're going to put one of these. Probably the intake is going to go up in the corner. It's there. I don't know which one this is, actually. Input. Good. Alright, and then we'll throw the output right over here. Some more insulated pipes. So we'll grab another one just in case. Yeah, I'm glad I built a larger base, but I kind of wish I would have made it more... I would have planned it a little bit better, I guess I would say. Is I kind of just had like this general idea of I wanted to do kind of like biodomes or like environmental domes all connected by tunnels, but then I didn't really do that because I realized that is a very expensive building technique. 25C pipe radiators. Those. And then here we go. It's not going to run because there's no pressure, so we need to go inside and throw some passive vents on there, and we'll be good to go. Hopefully that'll fix my temperature problems for now, and I'll do the one upstairs later. I just have to bring a frame up to put one of those on, and then set it off, as silly as that is. No, I want to keep my cable coils, because I need those. We'll have to vacuum out those bottles, because we do not store full bottles. That is a big no-no, as we've learned. Even with better temperature controls. No, I'm not storing full bottles of gas. Airlock cycles the inside. As well, because we will need those for some of the plans I have. This is still a little slow. I probably should have gone with the big vents, but it's so much faster than it was before I added the retention tank on there. Right, there we go. So now if we print 2, this is locked, of course. I still need to modify that script to use the better system that I had figured out. So passive vent. 2 of those, please. You can kind of see the insulation through there. Well, not much I can do about that. Now, in theory, this should work. I don't see any particles moving. Hopefully it works. I don't know if my tablet can read through there. It's still just reading the room. Oh wait, there we go. So we've got all of that at our room pressure. Doesn't seem to be working. We may need to add a pump to draw a vacuum through, although I thought that the system kind of did that by default, but maybe it's just that with the short runs that I have over here, that works. I don't know. I'm not going to troubleshoot that any further right now. I'm sure either someone in the comments will tell me, or I'll figure it out between recording sessions. But it's okay either way. We're not at risk of blowing anything up right now. And so kind of alright with it. Let's just vacuum those out. And we can drop these in the storage and go upstairs to do what I was intending to do today. Let's grab some water from my upstairs water bottle filler, which is so nice to have, that I don't have to go all the way down into the basement for this. Then let's start to work on our atmospherics. So I do kind of want to divide this room a little bit. Because so this is very much just a utility area at this point. So that can get cut off. And then I want to make this side over here where our actual, like, growing happens. And then this side over here is like our lab slash cooking area. So that's why I grabbed those walls. And then I do have, that's an active vent, passive vent, and I just want to add a pass-through vent so that we're sharing the atmosphere between these two sides, even though obviously we are right now. Uh-oh. Fuel sheets. Mech. And we can also use interior doors as well. Then I do have these doors. I was thinking about using that's a floor hatch, composite roll cover for one of these to put my electronics in so we can do future maintenance on them. But still have a somewhat clean look. Okay. That does limit access into that room, though, so maybe not. We can figure that out in a minute. Let's kind of do some more of the layout. So I have some atmospherics hydroponics bays. So I have 20 of these, yeah, which should be more than enough for just me to survive off of. Fun fact, that's probably still too many. But let's start with, I think, 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then let's leave a space. We can kind of walk through the gap there. And then, I did not bring that up yet, but we need to go back downstairs and grab the next part of this, which is another lair arm, specifically the Harvey variety this time. Or not the Harvey variety, lair hydroponics. Harvey is a separate thing that I thought about using, but it seemed like this was more efficient. Let's also grab some liquid pipes because we're going to need to plumb all this in. I don't have any liquid valves. Let's put one of those as well. So I decided on using the lair system again, even though we had so many problems with it over here. Mostly because I decided to use someone else's script this time. I went, should I write my own lair script again? And I went, you know what? I think I'm going to use someone who's a little bit better at this code for this purpose. Because that's what we do. And that's perfectly fine, and I have no bad feelings about that. You have to figure out if this is all enough ceilings to function. Kind of concerned that it's not giving me the green light. I guess we'll see. Yeah, hopefully we have enough space here, because I've never used this before, but we'll find out together. Because luckily, this time you won't have to sit here and listen to me ramble on about trying to program one of these things for several hours. Although all of that did get cut. So didn't end up having to sit here and listen to me ramble on about it for several hours. Let's put you all the way in the corner, which I'm sure I will in no way ever regret. Some more rails. And then we do need, I think I threw them in my... There they are. A chute import bin. Or lair to drop off all of the various goods. So I think that's a good start. What do I need to actually finish you? Electronics parts. Dang it, I forgot about that. Well, let me go grab those real quick. I'm also have to wire it in. So the script that I found should kind of scan through all of the plants, and do I have some? No, those are lockers. We only need 2 of these. It will scan through all of the available stations, looking at the grow beds down below. If it sees that the plant is... So it knows what the plant is. It knows what plants are perennials, so that will regrow from themselves, or what plants are seeding plants that need to seed. It will harvest perennial plants before they seed, which is something important to remember, because we may want to set up a separate row of non-automated grow beds for anything that we want to monitor more closely or that we want to seed specifically. And there we go. Oh, is your arm in the wall? I don't remember where the closest power conduit is, but hopefully close by, because I did run a separate power network over here. It was right over this area here. Go. Let's clear some of this stuff out of the way. Now, the script that I picked out does have the ability to manage grow lights as well, but it requires daylight sensor, and honestly, I might just close the shutters in the grow room so that it's all just run by grow lights. And let's actually... I think I found the spot I want to put my composite door. And I could have done with cleaning up the area a little bit first. It's blocking the placement there. None of the positions that I want it to go into it will fit. I guess we can do it on the floor. Could work. Circuit housing in here. I am stuck. That did not work out very well. I don't think I'm going to do that. It was a cool idea, but I suspect we're not going to end up using the composite roll cover. We'll just stick this guy in here. This is the maintenance area, and that's fine. So I'll show you guys the script here in a second and explain as far as I understand what I understand of what it does. Then we can start planting and see how this all works. It's on the same circuit. Go. And we also need to do our plumbing. I have no idea how much water this is actually going to use, but hopefully not so much that it becomes a big issue. Alright. So let's grab the laptop and get this all started. So if we look into here, this is the guy who made this script, or the individual. I'm not sure what your gender is. But it's a pretty awesome script. I kind of looked through it to get some pointers on how they did everything, and it's super simple, yet really uses the abilities of IC10 in a way that I have not personally mastered yet. So it uses the stack as a bit of an array to store, like, hey, these are the perennial regrowing plants. They put them in these addresses. They scan through those addresses to make sure whenever they harvest. It's a pretty cool script. We're mostly concerned. I'll drop a link to the workshop link in the doobly-doo below. We're mostly concerned with the configuration of what all of this is. So we need to grab our station numbers for all of the places that layer needs to go. So station 1 is the drop-off station, station 0 is the home station, station 2 is the first grow bed station, and station 11 is the last one. So the first plant tray is station 2, the last one is station 11, the home station is 0, and the bin is station 1. And we want it to wait 60 seconds before it scans again. So that should be fine for now. And then, because of the magic of using workshop scripts, I don't have to write anything else. It's so nice. So we can confirm that, export it, drop it into here, drop it into there. We do need to grab our device addresses real quick, because I don't actually know what the addressing is all. So layer is D0 and bin is D1. Zero and D1. Those are actually the only two things on this network. Now, activate this. Goes home and gets upset because the arm is obstructed. Of course, can't have anything nice. Maybe we don't have a wall here. Where's my angle grind? Okay, there it is. Now it's just waiting. Anyway, I wanted a wall there. I wonder if I can shimmy it over one. I guess I could. I could do the import bin to like right here, and then shorten the run a little bit as well. But here it goes. It's going out. Scans through, checks everything, doesn't find anything, goes back home. That is pretty cool. That was so much easier than having to write all that myself. But we are going to tear this out real quick because I do want that. I want this wall to exist. So, sorry, Lar, but we're moving things around a little bit. We're going to move you to right here. Fine. As long as the wire will run properly. Will, luckily. Need on. Then there goes right there, and then screwdriver, and then there we go. Hopefully that's a little bit happier. Now we just run the last cable. Redo the device addressing, and it should be fine. All right, so that's still station 1, that's still station 2. Let us now... My tool's actually in my tool belt to help grab our grow lights. Okay, so putting these in might be a problem. I am now realizing... Oh, okay, we can run cables directly through our linear rails. So if I want to install one of these, like here, I'll have to go outside and cable the... Well, actually, no, we don't have to. We can just do it this way. I know where all the cables are. Blink to life. These make this a dark environment, especially once we Put some walls in. Then ultimately we can continue to grow this, like, every row over. Realistically, if we just wanted to remove these window shutters and have it just be a dark room, we could do that pretty easily, because we can vacuum this area out without causing much damage. Let's turn you back on, turn you back on. Let's go grab some seeds and see if it works. I've got certainly plenty of potato seeds to use. Pop off some of this extra stuff we don't need. Those right this second. Let's keep our lights. Plenty of potatoes, which we'll start off with just because I don't want to use one of the plants that is a little bit more precious to me right now. Well, thriving. We will need another IC housing, which I think I saw I had one somewhere, just to run the timer for the lights, and we're just going to use the same script as we used downstairs. It's able to now go home, be happy. Let's also start to set up our other stuff up here, because in addition to having a grow room, we wanted to have a, let's doors in. Sheets. We'll fix that in a minute. Actually shouldn't need that because it's an interior door, so it doesn't divide the atmosphere. So while that is doing that, let's grab some of this other stuff. So that's atmospherics, that's also atmospherics. Man, I have so many atmospherics kits. So automated oven was the first of the new machines that I wanted to play around with. So this is where all of the outputs from the other room are going to go. That's going to be difficult, actually. Geez. Routing things. I was just talking about giving myself more space. And yet here I am, not doing that. We'll bump it out one. In addition to that, let's just grab some of the stuff up off the floor so it's not taking up so much space. We have a fridge, so our food doesn't go bad. We'll put this right here. So we can store some food in here without it going bad. Obviously, once we get the cables run to it, because right now it doesn't have any power. And then these tables. So I want to put some workbenches down. For all of these various appliances. So I made all this stuff. The genetic analyzer, the beam stabilizer, the beam splicer, the chemistry station. You need one more table. Here-ish. Gonna get a little hectic in here. For the reagent processor. We also have an advanced packing machine, which I don't know where I'm going to put yet, but it's also here. Let's collect some of this other stuff that we don't actually need and throw it in the corner. Okay, my guy's starting to get really unhappy without food and water, but hopefully here in a minute, we can also use this as an opportunity to grab those last two things that I might need. We'll be able to eat food from our system upstairs. So we shouldn't need those anymore. Nope. Okay. Let's make another IC-10. One. Then downstairs for hopefully our last... Oh, we're also going to need a microwave. I forgot to make one of those. Last of the basement potatoes. For now. Oh no. I thought I had another baked potato. I am going to leave this set up here, just in case the stuff I set up doesn't work super well. You know, better to be safe than sorry. But hopefully I won't need it. We are going to steal this one for a bit, though. Actually, we don't need to steal it for very long. I brought the laptop. Okay. Yeah, that's simple enough. We'll give this back. So we just printed a new IC-10. And we're all happy again, so we can head back upstairs and keep working on this. I see housing. I see 10. Let's grab some glass sheets. We have any? We do. Then I don't know, what does the automated oven take? Oven, it requires iron sheets and a screwdriver. So let's just grab some iron sheets real quick. Do I have any more? Steel sheets. Take one iron sheet real quick. So we can make 5. So we can also make the packaging system, because I'm pretty sure it requires the same things. But yeah, this will be like actually working. Yeah, our air conditioner has not worked. I'll have to look into that later. But actually functional farming for the first time in forever. All right. Welding torch. And there we go. Automated oven has been constructed. So, this stuff real quick. Those in here. I see housing. Those down. Oops. Water headers. So this is going to be super basic for now. I may improve this script later on, but it will do. We're just going to set batch because there are going to be multiple. Right. Fine. That's that. Actually, no, I don't think I need to do that. Just that. Then instead of this, I'm going to set batch. Row. Right. Batch. Grow light. Get rid of that. Confirm. Export. Pick up. Put in. That should now manage the lights automatically. Alright, now we gotta just wire all this stuff in. This is the network for this room. So if we just bring this kind of towards the center of the room. We'll be able to connect all our devices. I do love the, like, subgrid system. Like, I know it's a bit tedious to set up all the cables and everything, but honestly, it just makes the game feel better to have to do this. And I would kind of miss it if it was just kind of like Space Engineers, where everything was just powered via the grid, or like Foundry, the game I'm actually actively playing on the channel. If everything just got power directly from the grid, like, yeah, it works and it's a little bit more simple, but I don't know, it's just not as fun in my opinion. Not as, you don't have to think as much about where you put stuff, which convenient sometimes, and sometimes when I'm in the mood for something a little more casual, that's certainly appreciated, but I also enjoy actually having to do all of this. So many options. and make cereal bars again. And then the last thing is our advanced packing machine. Put you right there for now. I think this is what allows us to make, like, cans of food, which will be convenient for when we don't want to have everything spoil all the time, and we don't want to throw stuff in the fridge. Yeah. And everything. We do need some... Yeah, we brought the glass sheets up here to finish this off. We need some chutes, and then this should be all finished up. Hopefully the oven also keeps food good. I guess we should read if it does. So I'm not actually sure. Automated oven. It doesn't really say. Apparently there's 3 tier 1 versions. I think we are going to have to, like, do this a little bit jankily, fortunately. Well, here's to hoping this prevents spoilage, because I didn't look. So now, we just have to wait for these to grow. Looks like our script is working. This is growing moderately well towards fruiting. I would assume because it's been overexposed to light. So it needs some more darkness, which it's getting right now. Move that. Could be able to use benches on. Yeah, I do not know how most of this stuff works, but we're going to figure it out together. We head downstairs. I think there's one more tool that we need, which is a plant sampler. Tool maker. You. Made one yet? Nope, doesn't look like I did. Coming up on day 365, 1 year on Mars. I think I'd really like to make a cake for a year on Mars. I need a battery. Since we're going to be using this in the building, we'll make another wireless cell. Well, so much iron right now. These deep drills, awesome investment. Although I did see that I don't have quite the right setup of centrifuges, so I technically have one too many deep drills, so my centrifuge will never actually keep up, but it's kind of okay for now. There's plenty about this base that is less than ideal, so we will get to it when we get to it. So we have our genetic sampler. So if we sample that, then come over here, put that in there. Okay. So this shows us all of the properties of this plant. What do the rest of these do? So I think the little bit of reading that I did tells me that if, because we can kind of look, there's some information on genetics in here. So when we use the plant sampler, we can see kind of the properties of that plant. When we get other plants and other seeds, we can splice certain properties from that seed into other seeds so that everything becomes happy at the same range, or that we get better yield or more like growth speed multiplier, or water usage is lessened, or all of this other stuff. So that will make it so that our growing system is more efficient. And one of the biggest ones that we're going to want to look for is as we move into growing some other things besides just potatoes, we will need to probably splice some of the light per day properties, because right now all of these have 10 minutes light, 5 minutes darkness, where I think our wheat and I don't remember what the other seed we have. I don't remember if it's tomatoes or what it is. But, oh, soybeans. So our wheat and our soybeans, if we go look at those, so wheat, this one has the same, so that's fine. Our soybeans also has the same, so that's fine. But if we do trade for some other things, like say sugarcane, these have different light per day and darkness per day statistics to make them happy. So we are going to want to keep that in mind. But to get those, we are going to have to delve into the world of trading. So maybe next episode, I'll try and figure out how this all works, because I have never touched that, and I've never even looked up how to do it. So that's going to be an interesting one. I think, though, we're just going to see if this all worked. So I'll probably set up, well, let's just clean up a little bit. And by clean up, I mean throw the stuff in the corner. It's not very good. At corner. Throw it all in the closet. Close the door. No one will know. I'll set up here, and I'll do a little bit of a time lapse or a sped up video so you can see this grow, and Hopefully it all harvests correctly, as it should be. Yeah, these are all thriving. Everything is happy. Last thing I want to check is just what our atmospherics looks like. So we are at 102 kilopascals of pressure, which is fine. Our CO2 percentage is fine for these plants right now. That's my biggest concern, is that up here, because if we do plant like 30 something or 40 something plants, it might become to the point where there's not enough CO2. It's too rapidly processing through the CO2 in the air and creating more oxygen. So we may need to. One of the big reasons why I ran this return line all the way up here is so that we could filter off a little bit of our gas from up here, so that we're always replacing it with fresh CO2 charged gas. You know, for instance, if I come in here and I just like tap you on for a second, right? It's pulling air from this room and sending it to be filtered. This just gets auto-filtered. And then this should push fresh CO2 out to replace it. So we might need to set up some kind of system to do that automagically. Some water. Set up for a bit of a time-lapse / sped up video. So I'll catch you when the potatoes have grown. I'm back. Looks like one of these has grown into a plant. And it still needs to seed before it will... We got a little more waiting to do. But they all seem to be thriving. This thing is happy. Nothing's blown up yet. They're leaving a bit. That doesn't sound good. Maybe something has blown up. Oh, I'm assuming it's just dropping off all its contents. And my guy's going to die soon if I don't drink something. So I figured it's time to come back for a moment, but we'll let the time lapse continue here in a second. Yeah, that was just the that sounded terrible. That and it's a sandstorm now. Well, free power. Head back downstairs. Yeah, only going to take 5 minutes to charge up from 60%. So we are using more power now, obviously. We have more stuff wired in, but important to remember that because we may need to grow our power array a little bit to compensate for the extra power usage. Hopefully these will grow faster. It's only supposed to take about 8 minutes. I guess I can grab another sample to see what they look like. Doesn't actually tell me the end state. So some more are growing, or like how far in the growth cycle it is. And this wind sound is super annoying, not gonna lie. Sounds like that's getting started again. This is gonna wait for this to grow seeds for the potato, because it wants to replant the seed and not the potato. I think it'd be good to see how much water we actually have left in the network. Plenty. It's funny that these kind of did grow at different rates. Like, we planted these two last, I'm pretty sure, and they're growing first. Oh. Back to time-lapsing. Come on, potatoes. They want to eat a potato from up here, and I don't want to miss this seeding and then me not getting it on footage, but I'm gonna die if I don't eat anything soon, so... got a minute. Let's eat our last basement potato. Hopefully by the time I get back up there, that potato will have seeded and we'll be all good to go. There you go. You have some food. Be happy. Still has not seeded. Jeez, these things take forever to grow. Like, they don't, actually. It's not that long, but it feels like forever when I'm just sitting here waiting. I do wonder if some of these potatoes are different. I guess I could get multiple analyzers to do better comparisons. Maybe that's a good idea for the future. Actually, let's just see. So if we sample this guy, this was the fastest growing one. So I'm interested to see what the growth speed is on this guy versus one of the ones that took a lot longer to grow. So growth. Speed multiplier is 103%. We go to like this guy, who I think was the last one to grow. Ooh, it's seeded. Okay. Finally get to see Harvey do its thing. Or not Harvey. I'm going to call it Harvey. I don't really care. It's going to run back and dump it in the import bin. Send that off. Replant that. That's so awesome. All right, let's check this. Growth speed multiplier. Ooh. So yeah, this one has a higher growth speed multiplier. Then let's check out our oven. So if we go into here and say baked potato, we build ourselves a baked potato. We have our first couple of baked potatoes. And then we can store these in our refrigerator, which will set their decay time to practically infinite. That's really cool. So we have automated, theoretically infinite, baked potatoes. So I think next time we might get started on building a trade area and perhaps even grow this to maybe grow some wheat and soybeans. That's pretty easy to do. So thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.